Let's continue exploring the universe within art and the art behind drafting. I'm your host, OmLedu, and I've always been a really big fan of draft when it comes to card games, and so I'm super happy that Minion Masters has the draft mode available. It's a really fantastic way to learn how different cards work and to get used to building different decks and deck construction. There's a lot that can be learned from draft. But now let's jump into the draft. So it gave me Apep, Diona, and Melloween as my masters to choose from. Now when it comes to draft, you kind of want to avoid masters that need specific requirements, such as Melloween. She needs tons of spells for her abilities to work, whereas Apep doesn't really need anything for him to work. And since he gives you free cards that cost 0 to play, he kind of helps out with your mana curve in a way. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Apep. And my first 3 cards to choose from is Future Past, Dormant Defenders, and Infiltration. These are all very interesting. I'm kind of torn between Infiltration and Future Past. Future Past gives you mana advantage over time by giving you a random card that becomes cheaper, whereas Infiltration can help you be aggressive and it's anti-air, summoning the Plasma Marines. And in draft, getting ranged units is a lot less common, so I'm going to go ahead and snatch up the Plasma Marine spell. And for our second pick, we have the Lost Legionnaires, Grasping Thorns, and then the Healing Building. Now, I'm really not too happy with this as my second pick. The Grasping Thorns is pretty good for like small hordes or to slow things down. The Healing Building would be good if we had a tank, but since I can't guarantee that we'll have a tank, I'm probably not going to choose that. I really wish that this pick had have come later on, because the Grasping Thorns is really nice. It's not the best spell, but it can be really helpful again against like hordes and things like that. And then the Legionnaires are basically just a cheap dude. They have a shield for things like cleavers or slow attackers. And in draft, you need to keep an eye out for kill spells and for bridge control dudes. So I'm really conflicted on if I'm going to get better kill spells or if I'm going to get better cheap dudes. So I'm going to just go ahead and choose the Lost Legionnaires to guarantee that I have a couple of cheap dudes to put pressure on the bridge. But then for our next pick, we have Chain Lightning, Warrior, and the Brothers of Light. All 3 of these are actually fairly nice. I'm just so conflicted here. Brothers of Light is absolutely fantastic. Warrior is really cheap and has amazing health. But Chain Lightning is really hard to pass up. I'm going to go with Chain Lightning because it can hit flyers, it can stun things, so we're going to go with Chain Lightning. Our next pick is the Divine Warrior, Restless Dead, and Pincer of Dread. The Divine Warrior is pretty good, but so is the Pincer of Dread. This is also a really hard choice. The Divine Warrior is a little expensive for what it does, but having Divine Shield is really nice. But honestly, the Pincer of Dread is also a really great spell that can hit ground and flying, deals a good amount of damage, and inflicts fear on big enemies so I can make them go away. So I think I'm going to go with the Pincer of Dread. That'll give me my 2 kill spells so that I can kind of control or at least influence what's going on in the game. And then after that, I could just focus on my minions and my mana curve. And just like building any deck, you need to keep in mind how you're going to answer stuff. Like what are you going to do against a big minion or flying minions or a horde? You still need to try to have answers to all of these things, especially the awkward stuff like the occasional Harbinger. But then for my legendary card, the choice is pretty obvious. The Doom Cleaver and the Shrew Mama need really specific things for them to work, so I'm going to go with the Reckonator. Then for my 6th pick, we have the Laser Turret, the Scrat Tank, and the Sewer Scrat. The Laser Turret's nice, the Scrat Tank is nice, but I think in this situation, the Sewer Scrat will give me the most value. It gives me a cheap minion to capture bridges, and the poison damage can be really good against big things. But if I'd have picked the Scrat Tank and the Clutch Cooker, that would have given me 3 piloted minions, so I might have actually been able to activate his piloted ability. But this is a hard choice. Between the Clutch Cooker and the Storm Cloud, neither one are necessarily ideal, but they're both really nice. The Storm Cloud can make me more aggressive with the Reckonator, but the Clutch Cooker has AoE. I think I'm going to go with the Storm Cloud just because my mana curve is a little bit high. And then here we have Battle Shiyu, a Mana Puff, and then a Elite Swarmer. I think I'll go with the Elite Swarmer because that's just a really good bridge grab and a body on the field. Then for our 9th pick, we have Navir's Breath, Raging Reinforcements, and the Frostberry Bearer. Now, I'm not excited about this pick. None of these are very ideal in my opinion. They're all super duper expensive. I'd probably get the most value out of the new Raging Reinforcements. You can get really good dudes from that. But the Frostberry Bearer is a little cheaper, and I could play it behind the Reckonator to try to heal the Reckonator, maybe? I guess I'll go with the Bearer just because it's a little cheaper, and I can put it behind the Reckonator. And then our final pick, we have Rocket Scrat, Magnet Bombs, and the Succubus. Now, this is kind of hard. I don't, you can get a lot of value out of all three of these. The Magnet Bombs are pretty good at grabbing bridges, they're super cheap, and it does AoE, which we have a severe lack of. I'm probably going to regret this, but I think I'm going to go with the Succubus, even though my mana curve is a little high. We do have 3 cheap dudes to grab the bridges, which isn't ideal, but it's acceptable. It's such a hard choice. I really probably should go with the Magnet Bombs to give me more bridge control and some AoE. I'm just going to go with the Succubus, though, whatever. So here's our deck. Let me know in the comments what you would have done differently, what cards you would have picked over other cards, and why. I'm not super happy with this deck, but I'm going to try to make it work. And now on to our very first game. Now, your first game in draft is usually played against a bot. This kind of helps you test out your deck in a safe environment, where you're not just like trying to learn the cards, trying to learn the deck, and, fighting a human at the same time. Giving you a bot to play against is a nice way to kind of ease you into it. Now, my deck actually does seem kind of aggressive. If I could get the Reckonator in there, then I can constantly stun stuff with the Cloud and the Chain Lightning. And then, like, the Pincer of Dread can make something run away if it's about to kill the Reckonator, or just to get the Reckonator's bomb to explode. Or even the Infiltration to kind of, put Marines anywhere on the field wherever I need them to, like, support the Reckonator. I really also don't have very much aggressive cards. I don't really have any building attackers or, like, strong flying units. So I'm not really sure how exactly I should run this deck. I think something like this, where I'm sending the Storm Cloud in to protect the Reckonator's bomb so that it guarantees to go off. This seems to be okay. I dealt like 1,000 damage in that push. Now granted, this is against the AI, but still. And then Apep, is going to come in real handy by giving me free random cards. Like Bats is really good in draft, so times that it gives me those, that'll be really helpful. And just getting a little bit of mana advantage from Apep's free cards is also pretty nice. So this should be interesting. I'm really not used to using a lot of these cards, but in this situation I can play the Bear behind the Reckonator to hopefully heal the Reckonator, maybe, is kind of the dream, at least. And this is why draft is really, really good practice. Like, it gets you used to cards that you normally wouldn't even use. So maybe you don't even know what they do, but after using them in draft, you'll have a basic idea of what those cards do. And so whenever you see your opponent using them, you'll have a better understanding of what to expect. Or when it comes to making a deck, you'll be able to use more cards, have more cards at your disposal. So like right there, we did manage to heal the Reckonator and stall out for a little bit so that our cards can, deal some more damage. So this does seem fairly aggressive. And that may actually prove to be a problem because I rarely use aggressive decks, so I'm not exactly the best at knowing when to push and when to stall. But we shall see. And that's another thing about draft, is it not only does it get you used to playing cards that you normally don't play, but it also gets you used to different play styles sometimes. Like aggression or control or defensive, So draft is just really, really great practice. I do wish that it didn't cost gold, because it's really good for new players to learn the game, but it costing gold makes you want to wait until you learn the cards in order to play draft. So it's kind of hard to know when you should start playing draft or when you should start using your gold in order to play draft. Like, you can get really fantastic rewards from draft. If you manage to win like the full 12 times, you get a legendary chest which can have like legendary cards in it and stuff like that. But if you lose right off the bat, then you just kind of spent gold and lost out, which is super duper sad. But anyway, they played the High Marshal Rystart, which is super scary. I'm going to Pincer of Dread him so that I can take out his support units and then kill him with the Reckonator and the Succubus, hopefully. Except that the Succubus gets killed by his AoE. That's super duper unfortunate. Rystar is just really, really obnoxious. Whether you're playing teamers or solo or even draft, the range on his AoE is better than most ranged units. Like, how does that make any sense? And then he gives you so many free bodies later on that, like, his value really builds up every time you play him. With the Legion 3, getting 3 free dudes throughout the game, can really put you at an advantage, you know, and make your health on the field just totally overwhelming. But they play a cleaver, and so I'm just going to throw the Storm Cloud there to try to stun it and deal it some damage, and then throw my Marines, hopefully, to overwhelm it and shoot it and take it down, except that he has a Blast Crystal as well. Jeez, he has Stun Puff, Heal Puff, Bear Avalanche, Blast Crystal, Cleaver, Spirit Skeleton, and Rystar. I'm playing like a ladder deck in draft. This is super sad. And then my Swarmers didn't even split, so I didn't control the top bridge. That's so nice. Oh, what to do? I guess I'll play the Succubus up at the top, and then maybe play the Reckonator in front of her. You know, the Frost Feathers won't be too hard to deal with between my Master and her. You know, they'll probably play Rystar into this again, but maybe I can stun him with the Chain Lightning. Yeah, there he is. Okay, so if I can stun him with the Chain Lightning, and I was too slow. Oh, that's so sad. And then I got frustrated and Pincer of Dreaded him, which I shouldn't have done. I think the Reckonator would have killed him regardless. And they have the Stun Monkey. So on top of my huge misplay just now, they also have the Stun Monkey. This is just really bad. You know, they have 3 cheap bridge grabs, 2 great spells, you know, 1 scary cleaver thing, a Stun Monkey, both for single targets. Then they have the AoE with the High Marshal Rystar, who then also gives them bulk on the field. I mean, this is really bad. I'm probably going to lose this one, but we're going to try. I do have the experience lead. I have taken a ton of damage, you know, but health is a resource. But when playing against cleavers and stuff, you know, it is a resource that you can run out of. But look at this Stun Puff at the bottom. My Elite Swarmer doesn't kill it in time, and it manages to grab the bridge. Like, that is horrible. Like, oh my goodness. But they play Rystar up at the top, which will make quick work out of my minions, so I guess I'll play Infiltration to capture this bridge. I don't know if that's the best idea. Oh, but it brought out the Bear Avalanche, so that's pretty good. To deal with Rystar, I'm going to play the Reckonator and then redirect his attack with the building so that he doesn't hurt my Reckonator. I'm also going to retake the bottom bridge from that Heal Puff, and then I need to get rid of that Stun Monkey. You know, he's going to deal my Reckonator some grief, so I'm going to play the Storm Cloud so that we can get rid of the Stun Monkey and then redirect the Stun Monkey to my Poison Scrat. That worked out really nicely, and I still have the experience lead, so it looks like for this game, my goal is to win through Mana Frenzy. So I'm going to split the 2 girls so that they support both bridges, but they did play the Frost Feathers right after I played the girls, which is sad. You know, if I'd have waited just a second, I could have played the girls to back up the Reckonator, but the Cleaver was going to kill it anyway. So for the Cleaver, I'm going to Pincer of Dread it and hope that I can kill it, but my bear healed my Succubus at a horrible time. That's actually kind of sad. I do manage to kill the Cleaver, but then the High Marshal wipes me out yet again. But I do have a pretty good experience lead, so as long as I can maintain control of these bridges, I should be okay. I'm going to try to Chain Lightning the Rystar so that the Reckonator can kill it, but that Bear Avalanche really slowed me down, and now they have a Stun Monkey. This is so super duper bad. Hopefully the Storm Cloud can at least thin this out. Maybe it can kill the Rystar. Nope, okay. And that Stun Puff is going to capture the top bridge. That is not good. It causes me to misplay the bear because I'm too distracted trying to retake the bridges. I should have played it up at the top or something. I'm going to use Infiltration trying to kill this Stun Puff, but I missed the timing. But at least it brought out a Blast Crystal. That's pretty good. You know, I really should play my building to mitigate some damage or to distract those attackers, but I am just way too worried trying to kill this Stun Puff and trying to maintain experience advantage. But at least they wasted a Bear Avalanche and my monkey survived. I managed to survive after a bunch of misplays. I have really low health, but I now have both bridges yet again. That Stun Monkey dealt so much damage, you know, and I misplayed a ton. I was so scared, you know, from getting overwhelmed and trying to maintain bridge control that it caused me to misplay a bunch. You know, but now I'm in a pretty good position. You know, the Skeleton Horde and the Reckonator is going to take out that Cleaver. You know, I pincered Rystar so that he's afraid. My Storm Cloud and I are going to double Chain Lightning the whole area and take out Rystar. Now I have Mana Frenzy, so this game should be in the bag. You know, that was super duper scary throughout this game. You know, I misplayed a couple of times, which did cost me a lot. You know, I almost died. I think my opponent's biggest problem was misusing the spells. You know, again, really remember that spells should only be used to win encounters. You know, to change the outcome of something. You know, keep your minions alive while killing theirs. I also just realized that they're Setsu, and I don't think they used Setsu's spell to enter the battlefield ever. You know, they might have been able to kill me if they'd have just landed Setsu in the corner a few times. You know, that would have been a little too overwhelming, especially when the stun monkey was stunning me. You know, so I wonder why they didn't do that. But after some ups and downs, I do manage to steal the victory through Mana Frenzy. But look at my opponent's deck. Like, this could be a tier deck. It looks like decks you would normally see on the leaderboards, except that it has 2 puffs instead of just 1. But now on to our third game. Let's see if we can get 3 wins in a row. That would be super duper exciting. I did misplay a few times in the last game, so I need to be more aware of that and try to play better from here on out. And I've talked about it before, but that's a nice thing about watching your replays. You know, you may not even see your mistakes in-game in the heat of the moment, but if you rewatch your replays, you can really examine what you and your opponent did wrong. But starting off this game, it looks like my opponent used that Jungle Jumble card, I think is what that was. You know, I saw some green cards kind of float around their master tower, so I'm assuming it was the Jungle Jumble. That was definitely a future card. You know, so they're using a couple of cards to gain them some random ones. So maybe it's time to be aggressive. You know, they've spent 6 mana getting random cards, so maybe I can play the Storm Cloud and wipe out some of the defense that they play and deal some pretty good damage. Oh, but that was a really nicely placed Scrat Tank. Oh man, that makes Stormy waste one of his Chain Lightnings. That was really, really good. Ooh, and they have some Propeller Scrats. You know, I do need to be careful about flying, although I do have a decent amount of range between the Marines and the Succubus. You know, they shouldn't give me too much problem. Now for that Scrat Tank, I'm going to distract it with the wall so that the Marines can actually shoot it. But they do play the Spell Dragon. That's really interesting. Oh, and they turn the Scrat Tank into a werewolf. And they start killing my Marines with the Valorian spell. Like, that's not super ideal. I need to kill that dragon and retake the bridges. Okay. So I'm ahead in experience, and I have both bridges. That's super duper good. Now I do have to keep in mind that they're going to have some Zinchi flow, and it looks like they have a golem that also picked up a growth berry. Like, that's going to be kind of hard to deal with. I'm not really sure the best way for me to deal with this. I'm going to play the Reconator behind the bear so that the golem attacks the bear, then the Reconator can attack the golem, and hopefully this will be okay. I'll try to stun it. I kind of missed the timing on that a little bit. And yeah, my Reconator's going to get taken out. That is super duper sad. Oh, and they have Bolf, and it has a Spirit. Oh, that's... Bolf is just so fantastic, whether it's in draft or whether it's anywhere. Like, I really don't know what to do. I'm going to play the Storm Cloud. This probably is not a good idea, because the Storm Cloud is just going to kill itself, and it doesn't even kill the golem. That was a really bad mistake. Oh, I'm getting kind of flustered here. They even have the big purple guy too. Like, oh, this is not good. I mean, they have Bolf, they have Blue Golem, they have the Mardred. I really don't know what to do. I don't have a lot of things that can kill big dudes. I may just have to let Mardred target my tower. I'll try to retake this bridge at least so that I can maintain some experience advantage. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay alive. I mean, they have some really big, scary things. No, it's over. I misplayed a ton just there. You know, I shouldn't have played the Storm Cloud against the Golem. I shouldn't have played the Succubus against the Propeller Scrats. I shouldn't have played the Bear up at the top. You know, I shouldn't have played the Soldier to retake the bridge. You know, I'm done. You know, I only have 40 health. There's just no way that I can win this. You know, I don't even have the experience advantage, really. I'm up by 2 experience, 1 experience. They control both bridges. There's just no way I'm going to win this. You know, so I misplayed like 5 times in a row, and that shows you what can happen. You know, I was too concerned about controlling the bridges, and I underestimated Mardred. You know, and I kind of honestly overestimated the Blue Golem. Like, I don't know why I played the Storm Cloud at the Blue Golem. Like, I don't know. I made a lot of questionable decisions there. And it cost me the game, because there's just no way that I can come back from this. Like, you know, I'm going to try to be a little aggressive, because I just have to keep them away. You know, but I mean, there's just no way that I can win this. I misplayed way too much. Now my health is only at 40. You know, a single hit will kill me, and there's no way that I can stop that Scrat Tank and that Bounce Berry. Like, this is just done. You know, that goes to show, be really careful. You know, capturing bridges is important. Health is a resource. But if you spend too much health, then you'll lose the game. But GG's, that's just the first loss, and in draft you can lose up to 3 times before it's over. So it's totally, totally fine. Plus, to be honest, I kind of deserve to lose that game. I misplayed, a ton in a row. So, you get punished for things like that, and that's okay. But yeah, I was right. They used Jungle Jumble right off the bat. Oh, and they had the expensive future. I thought it was the cheap one. How interesting. Really cool stuff. Either way, on to the next game. Let's try to get our third win. I just gotta, be careful and not make those misplays. I've been playing this game for a long time now, and I still make, horrible, horrible misplays all the time. But all I can do is try to learn from my mistakes. Honestly, even making these videos and rewatching them while I edit is super duper helpful. It really helps me examine when I make mistakes and what those mistakes are. So hopefully I'll be able to improve and get better throughout watching these videos. And hopefully you can learn from my mistakes as well. But while we're on the subject, if you're liking this video, don't forget to drop a like and consider subscribing for more content. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see in the future, and I will be more than happy to get it done or to help answer any questions that you might have. And if you have any critiques or suggestions for the gameplay that I did or for the commentary that I'm giving, let me know in the comments. Whether it's good or bad, I would love to hear what's on your mind. Not only am I trying to get better at this game, but I'm also trying to get better at making videos. So any critiques that you might have would be highly appreciated. The more that you tell me, the more I can learn. But anyway, now back to the gameplay. So already, this is looking fairly questionable. They have Fang the Wanderer, who is really, really strong. Raging Reinforcements, which is, maybe kind of making me a little jealous since I could have taken that card. Then they also have Stun Lancers, which is really good into my deck. I basically don't have any hordes at all, so that's gonna, pose a problem. And that Stun Puff also gives them pretty good bridge control. I need to be really careful playing into this. I need to control these bridges. Oh, and they also have that Scrat that hits land units with the net, whatever he's called. This is gonna be kind of difficult, especially Fang the Wanderer is just so super strong, and I'm so, not used to playing against him. So I'm not even sure what kind of bonuses he gets, how strong he is, all of that stuff. I've always wanted to build a deck around him, mainly so I can learn, how he works and how to counter him and stuff like that. But again, those Stun Lancers are going to be a huge issue. Like, they've already caused me tons of grief. Now, I do like that they nerfed them in a way. Back whenever I first started playing, their stun would never run out. But for some reason now, it seems like their stun stops working after a few hits. And they also make me regret not taking the magnet bombs. Already they've gotten huge value out of the magnet bombs, and so this just really isn't looking good. And that Raging Reinforcements is pretty good now. It's expensive, but it seems worth it. I kind of wish that I had maybe taken that. But you live and you learn. Again with the Fang the Wanderer, I wish I knew more about him. I've read him several times because I really want to make a deck around him. I'm just so unsure about what can kill him in a 1v1, since his stats kind of change depending on, what you have in your hand. But I think one of the biggest problems, again, is going to be those Stun Lancers. They are just really good into this current deck. And those Magnet Bombs really make me jealous. I wish I'd have taken those. They put so much pressure on both bridges, and they can kill like flying hordes and stuff like that. But those Stun Lancers are really going to cause me grief. I mean, look how much damage it dealt to my bear because he was frozen. It took me so long to kill those Stun Lancers. And then with the backup of that Outlander card, this is just really bad. And then they have the Poison Spell, which is pretty good. I just got to try to maintain bridge control. And I need to be extra careful not to play the Reckonator into the Stun Lancers. But I'm not sure why I used Infiltration right there. That was a huge mistake. I should have played them behind the Reckonator. But either way, he would have killed him with Valorian Spell, I guess. But look at that. I mean, Fang just slaughtered the Reckonator. That is super, super sad. Like, Yeah, I'm just really bad into Fang. I don't know how much damage he deals, so I keep underestimating him and just throwing units for him to kill. This is going to be really hard. I might lose this one partly because of the lack of my knowledge against Fang, And then also because the Raging Reinforcements is giving him huge value. Like, those dudes with Rage really pack a punch. I mean, look how much damage they did. They killed me, you know, wow. Okay. So, yeah, you know, again, you live and you learn. You know, I underestimated Raging Reinforcements. I don't really know exactly what can kill Fang and what he can kill. And then the Stun Lancers really punished me on occasion. But he got huge value out of Fang because of the lack of my knowledge. You know, I threw tons and tons of minions at him for him just to slaughter. You know, I wasted tons of mana trying to kill him just because I'm unsure of like how much damage he does, how much health he has. You know, that is definitely a card that I need to play with so that I can learn better, you know, so that I don't misplay into it as much as I just did. But also, that player had 8 wins. You know, he's going all the way to the top. Meanwhile, I am now on my second loss. If I lose one more, I will be out of the running. That is super sad. You know, I would like to at least get 4 wins. That way, I beat 3 humans and lost to 3 humans. You know, so that's like 50-50. But as you can see, I am definitely not the best at this game. You know, I misplay a bunch. But hopefully, throughout making these videos, I can learn from my mistakes, and hopefully you can too. You know, we can get better together. I mean, already, second play of the game, and I've already made a mistake. You know, I let the AoE girl hit my succubus. You know, I think I'm just going to Pincer of Dread her, and so I'm really glad that it kills her in one hit. You know, that's going to be really helpful. You know, not that I have any hordes, but just because she is really strong. Oh, and that is a lot of swordsmen up at the top. I'm not even sure what gives you that many swordsmen. You know, normally I would think Raging Reinforcements, but they don't have rage, so I wonder what that card is. Oh, and they have that spell that turns something into a cleaver. That is super duper scary. Luckily, I managed to get rid of it with the Storm Cloud. You know, so let's hope I am that lucky in the future. They are going to control both bridges for a little bit and deal me some face damage, but that's okay. You know, that building might cause me some grief, so I'm going to try to play my infiltration up here in the corner so I can take out that building after the AoE girl has been distracted by my swordsman. So I do need to keep an eye out for that spell that turns something into a cleaver. Other than that, I haven't seen anything too terribly scary. I do need to watch out for Setsu entering the battlefield. Oh, she's just gonna shoot at my face. I don't really have a good answer for this. I probably should have waited till those crossbow dudes targeted me. You know, my bear's gonna take a lot of damage for this, and there's nothing else that I have really. You know, finally I can play the Reckonator and just barely save the bear. Okay, as long as the bear gets stuck behind my Reckonator, you know, my Reckonator might be able to heal. You know, that little poison lizard does do a lot of poison damage as his very first hit. Oh, and that's super sad. The bear's going to crawl in front and Setsu's going to kill them. Oh, but they wasted a chain lightning. That's super duper good. You know, again, this goes back to, you know, be careful when you use your spells. You know, they did do a good job at letting the Reckonator target the building before they played the swordsman. You know, but they wasted that chain lightning. So I definitely got to be careful about that. You know, it's good to know that they have a chain lightning. And my Storm Cloud got pretty good value. You know, it took out all of those swordsmen and took out the shields on those crossbow dudes. Oh, and they're trying to turn one into a cleaver. Oh no, they're duplicating it. Oh, it's not the cleaver one. It's the duplication one. That's kind of interesting. I'm just going to Pincer of Dread that AoE girl, partly because she does a lot of damage, but also just to prevent her from taking the bridge. And really, I should have waited to use my infiltration for when they play that Swarmer building, because now Setsu's just going to land on them, which is pretty sad. I can redirect her attack to my building and kill her with the bear at least, and I can let the Poison Lizard target my tower and then kill it with a Swarmer. Ah, but they got that Swarmer building up. Yeah, see, I should have used my infiltration on the building rather than playing it in preparation for the bats. The bats weren't really a big deal. You know, at least my Reckonator should be able to tear through all the Swarmers, so that should be okay. And that bear has so much health, it's really keeping me away from that bridge. It looks like my Succubus is going to get killed by those sword guys. I really should have Chain Lightning that. You know, I bet she could have killed them after a Chain Lightning, but that's okay. You know, we'll just let my master kill the swordsman. More importantly, we need to do something about those bats. You know, those are going to just destroy my Reckonator. And, oh, one of them nether stepped toward my Storm Cloud and made him waste a Chain Lightning. That's so super sad. Oh, and my Storm Cloud didn't really do anything. It only killed 2 bats. You know, that's super duper sad. And that is the thing about the Storm Cloud. Sometimes it gives you humongous value, but other times it can just be wasted. I am going to Pincer of Dread this AoE girl so that she doesn't kill my Marines, but we're in a pretty good situation. We're going to deal a bunch of face damage from this, and Setsu even used her spell to enter the battlefield, and she didn't kill all of the Marines. That's really, really nice. I'm always kind of questionable whenever people use Setsu's spell to enter the battlefield as they're getting attacked. You know, that's a good like 3 seconds of you just not being able to defend yourself. Now, if you are getting overrun by a horde or something like that, you know, her AoE damage from entering can clear that out. But now I can use Apep's building to mitigate the damage, kill her with some scrats who will then retake the bridge. I'm going to play Infiltration in the corner to support the Reconator, but they get wiped out by the AoE girl. I can take her out with a Chain Lightning, and I think I'm going to throw Stormy up the middle. You know, not necessarily to be aggressive, but to try to let the Reconator's bomb go off whenever it's triggered, like here. You know, hopefully we can kill some of these crossbowmen with the bomb. You know, and it killed one of them. You know, that wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. We're almost to Mana Frenzy. We have a good lead on experience, so all we have to do is maintain control of the bridges and make sure that Setsu doesn't kill us from her entering the battlefield. But this is looking really good. You know, I don't really think there's a way that they'll be able to aggro us enough in order to kill us. You know, we got the bear, we got the succubus, we got both bridges. You know, I threw a Reconator behind all of that. I do kind of play into that Chain Lightning that I forgot that they had. You know, but we're going to be able to take all of this out, and now I have Mana Frenzy, so I can just start dumping stuff over the bridge. And I do believe that it is over. You know, I think I played better that time. I didn't misplay quite as much. You know, I did lose some value off of the Storm Cloud, but that's just kind of something that you have to live with when using the Storm Cloud. And that was my third victory. How super duper exciting. Oh, and I didn't click on his deck. Oh, that's so sad. I wanted to see what all he was using. I just clicked way too fast and didn't even think about it. But on to the next game. If we can win this one, that'll be our fourth victory. You know, that's kind of the bare minimum for me to feel happy and not sad. And for this match, we're facing against Tronvir. He's one of my favorite masters to use. There is quite a few people saying that he's overpowered, and I honestly used to think that as well, until I used him. You know, he does have a lot of versatility because he has a rune that damages things, a rune that freezes things, and a rune that summons things. But since you can't pick which one you get at any given time, and because he only gets his perk 3 rune one time, and it's really not that great, you know, he's actually kind of reasonable in my opinion. Now they did play an invisible thing, and they played it in the middle, so I wasn't sure what lane it was going to go down. That is a really good idea when playing stealthed units, because it keeps your opponent guessing. I also got pretty good value out of that bear, since it froze the elite swarmer and made it harder to kill. Oh, but they have a ghost. I have to be really careful and not let that ghost take over my Reconator. That will be very, very bad. And Scotty can be really, really scary, you know, but luckily we can poison him with the sewer scrat and then kill him with the succubus. But as for the bear, I'm just going to ignore it, let my master kill it, and recapture this bridge so that I can save up some mana and save up some health on my units. And they played another Scotty. That's interesting. Do they have 2 Scotties? That's super, super interesting. And they recaptured the bridges, so I'm going to play my Marines in the center here so that they target Scotty and target the bridges. You know, I need to be careful about Scotty because he deals a lot of damage really quickly, but I also need to capture the bridges. And there's Tronvir's Wind Rune. He tried to take out all of my Marines, but he only managed to take out 2, and then he took out the last one with the Stealth Girl. I do need to pay really close attention to when they play that Stealth Assassin. You know, she can catch you by surprise. But now I can put really good pressure on both bridges with the Reconator and with the Horde at the bottom, but it looks like they're going to try to take my Reconator with a Ghost. Luckily, I can just pincer it to get rid of it, and then I can kill the net scrat at the bottom there, and they did a good job at allowing the Reconator to target the Master before they played their units. So now they will be able to kill the Reconator, but I am going to Chain Lightning in hopes that the bomb can go off. You know, if that bomb can take out Scotty, yeah, it did. That is amazing. What great value there. You know, that was totally worth the Chain Lightning. That was a really good push. We got really good bridge time from that, and we dealt a lot of face damage as well. The Succubus and the Bats should be able to take out Scotty, except that they played the Frost Rune. So I'm going to play Apep's building in order to distract Scotty while my units take him down, and it looks like they played the Stealth Assassin up at the top. But why did she become unstealthed? That's super strange. I don't understand why she became unstealthed there. Now I'm not sure if the bear is actually bulky enough to kill her though, so I'm going to play the Marines just to be safe. They got the Ragey Swarmers. Those can be really scary at times. So I'm going to play the Reconator in the back since I have full mana, and try to play some support behind it. But I need to make sure to save enough for a spell, because they probably have the Ghost again, and they're probably going to try to steal it. I think I'll be a little aggressive here and play the Storm Cloud since they are at 500. You know, if nothing else, it'll help me take down Scotty. But that net Scrat can target the Storm Cloud from across the map. That's crazy. The range on that thing is insane. I didn't know it had that much range. But at least my Storm Cloud killed the Ghosts, and then helped kill Scotty, and then the bomb went off, and now my opponent is at 200. But I also control both bridges. Now they did play the Stealth Assassin down at the bottom, and they have Scotty up at the top. But I think I can just play the Marines up in their pocket and just kill him with that and a Chain Lightning. You know, so I'm going to play the Marines. I'm going to make sure they don't have anything, play my Apep building just to be sure. And sure enough, my Marines are going to deal enough damage for me just to Chain Lightning and win this game. And with that, I got my 4th win, so I am super happy. Now, even if I lose the next game, it means that I will have beaten 3 humans and then lost to 3 humans. And you know, you can't complain about that. But it's crazy, they got 2 Scotties and the Ghost and the Stealth Girl. That's 4 legendaries. I didn't know that was even possible in draft. You know, I'm really curious of how the draft rules work when it comes to rarity and stuff like that. I thought you only got 2 legendaries, but they got 4. That's super strange. But anyway, on to our next battle. Let's see if I can get to 5 wins or if I'll reach my 3rd loss. And let me know down in the comments if you know the details behind the draft rules. Like, how did they end up with 4 legendaries? You know, is that totally random? Or is it influenced by something? You know, if you know the details of how the draft picks your cards, let me know about it in the comments. I would love to know. As for this game, it looks like I'm facing against Mordar. I really wish I had some flying units, because he can't hit flying, but I need to be really careful about his Burn the Bridge spell. You know, he can really punish overplays on the bridge. But it looks like he has the Experienced Sniper. That is super scary. I need to make quick work of that, you know, not play into it. I'm going to try to kill it with the Marines. But I played too close to Mordar's tower, and he killed 3 of them right off the bat. That is that's super disgusting. I need to be really careful about that. He also has the Assassin and the Rammer. Like, this is going to be super aggressive. I'm going to pincer the Rammer just to make it go away for the moment. This is already looking bad. I mean, he has that shield charge guy too. Like, he is a beast. This is not looking good. I mean, like, just the Experienced Sniper, you could deal with it. You know, you just have to be extra careful about bridge control. Or like an Assassin, you can deal with it. You just have to, you know, be careful whenever you see it and take it out. Or like the Rammer, you just have to be careful and take it out. And then this shield guy, though, is just so tanky and devastating. Like, it's going to take so long to kill him, and his shield charge is just devastating. And then I even missed the Chain Lightning on the Reboomer egg. I'm going to lose this game. I mean, if it was just like 2 of those 4, I could deal with it. But between having an Assassin, a Rammer, the shield charge guy, the Experienced Sniper, and the Reboomer, I don't have enough answers for this. Like, I'm already almost dead, and we're only 2 minutes in. Like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't even know if I could possibly win, even if I played really well. Like, especially just that shield charge guy alone. He has so much health, and he is just so devastating. Like, even without rage, he is absolutely devastating. And then if I focus too much on the aggression, the Experienced Sniper will put him ahead in experience. But I mean, look at that. Like, he took out the Reconator in like 2 seconds. Like, and then he survived even the bomb. Like, that shield charge guy is just devastating. Like, there's just no way I can win this. Like, I do have the experience lead, but I mean, he's just going to be aggressive over and over. You know, like, maybe if I was playing like Tronvir, I might have enough buildings to distract the Rammer, but yeah, I'm dead. Like, that was disgusting. I'm really jealous over the cards that he got. That was a super lucky draft. I mean, if you get a Rammer without other aggressive cards, the Rammer is useless. You know, if you get the Experienced Sniper without stuff that's aggressive or bulky, the experienced sniper is basically useless. You know, now the shield guard of light and the assassin are basically always amazing, especially the shield guard of light. I mean, 800 health for 7 mana and then devastating attack. Like, I don't know. Either way, I got my 4 wins, so that's cool. Let's open up my common reward, and I got 283 gold. You know, so that's another thing. You know, if you play draft and you lose, or even if you don't win all that much, you're going to end up losing gold. You know, so really you're paying for the experience. You know, the learning new cards, the learning new deck styles. You know, so it can be really disheartening whenever you lose and you actually lose out on gold. You know, especially if you're a new player, you want the gold to buy cards, and so draft can be really off-putting, but I recommend it anyway. It's a really good way to learn and to grow, you know, as a player. But that's all we got for this video. I hope you learned from my mistakes, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. It helps out the video, helps out the channel, and it makes me super happy. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see in the future, what you thought about this video, or if you don't know what to say, just tell me hi. I would love to hear from you. But until next time, I've been your host, OmLedu, here to share a draft with you, and reminding you, as always, don't forget to have fun. Bye-bye.